Drinking and driving is a very serious matter. AlcoholAlert.com reported that every day 28 people die from drinking and driving. Um, while taking a defensive driving course, I came across a really sad story on senseofdriving.com about a couple who had just had premature twins and thought they weren't going to live, but they ended up living, and it was Christmas time, and they were excited to have a good first Christmas with their miracle twins. But on the way home, they were hit by a drunk driver, and the dad was killed instantly. So now the mother is making funeral arrangements for her husband instead of spending a nice Christmas with her and her two twins. So, not only does alcohol affect just you in your driving, but it affects everybody around you. So, alcohol has many effects on your mind and body. It slows down your CNS, or central nervous system, and can cause slurred speech, memory loss, sleepiness, slow reflexes, and even hallucinations. Some more severe effects are blackouts and even alcohol poisoning from a result of binge drinking. And a drink is considered 4 to 5 ounces of wine, 10 ounces of wine cooler, 12 ounces of beer, or 1.5 ounces of distilled liquor. Binge drinking is consuming too many drinks at one time. So 4 or more in 2 hours for women, and 5 or more in 2 hours for men. So, the time that when you feel the effects of alcohol depends on your body weight and your size. So, though you may not feel the effects yet, doesn't mean that you should drive. So, alcohol is also a depressant, and when mixed with depressive drugs, it can amplify the effects of the alcohol by 10 times. In 2012, out of every 100,000 Americans under 21, 1.4 were killed in drinking and driving accidents. 70% of alcohol-impaired driving fatalities involved a driver with a BAC, or blood alcohol content, of 0.15 or above. The legal blood alcohol content, if you're over 21, is 0.08 or 8 milliliters of alcohol. So 1.5 is almost double that limit. And if you're under 21, your blood alcohol content is 0.02 or 2 milliliters of alcohol. And you would think it would be 0, but it's not, because some mouthwashes and cough syrups have a small amount of alcohol, as well as some families allow small consumption of alcohol for religious functions. There are various consequences to drinking and driving, including jail, fine, license suspension, and sometimes even death. The minimum consequences of a DWI charge, or drinking while intoxicated, is 3 days in jail, a 90-day license suspension, arrest, and a fine depending on the offense. If you're in an accident while drinking and driving and kill someone, you can be charged with neglected homicide or even murder. For people under 21, there's a zero tolerance law that is not just here in Texas, but everywhere. It differs from state to state, but basically it says that if you're under 21, you're not allowed to have a blood alcohol content of over 0.02. Charges and consequences for a person under 21 are much harsher, especially for teens. There's more jail time, bigger fines, longer license suspension, and then, of course, you're going to have to deal with your family at home. So this is just a chart, an alcohol impairment chart, And you can see at 0, it says only safe, is the only safe driving limit. And even just at 0.02, the impairment of your reflexes and your vision and your speech begins. 90% of drinking and driving happens after drinking with friends, family, and coworkers. There's always someone around to be a part of the prevention against drinking and driving. So take precautions. I know everybody hears don't be stupid about drinking and driving all the time, and you think common sense would tell you not to, but when intoxicated, common sense goes out the window. So be informed of the risks. Take all the necessary precautions when you go out. Have a designated driver if you know you're going to be drinking. If you don't, call somebody. Don't get in your car and drive. Get involved in other things. There's always something else you could do besides drinking. There's clubs, there's leagues, sports leagues, go to a movie, go bowling, but stay sober. So, drinking and driving is a very serious matter, and it should not be taken lightly. Everyone who is involved in consuming alcohol should take the necessary precautions and be informed of the risks. A father died because of a poor choice and a drunk driver, and those twins will never get to grow up and sit in their dad's lap or be taught to play ball. And their mother is now without her husband. I don't want any more children to lose a parent or any other family member to drunk driving. Do you?